Yes, I know it's a hot mic, chat room. You don't have to keep saying hot mic. Well, as far as we know.
Space, the boundary of human achievement, the new frontier.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the Earth is flat.
In a few moments, you will have an experience which will seem completely real. It can be extremely harmful and result in severe trauma. You have 5 seconds to terminate this tape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's
Hold on,
foolproof.
I know how we're different. Do you believe the Earth is flat?
I know it's flat. I walk on it.
Holy
Do you think the Earth is flat, Snoop? What do you think?
It's a flat world after all.
Smoke weed every day.
Smoke weed every day. I mean cigarettes, unfiltered. That's probably not true. They want to keep people away from the good stuff.
Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the peanut gallery, he's actually here. He's watching the selection coming up on November 5th. It's a close race. A better way to describe what's going on would be like the grains of an hourglass. You see, DJ's not going to get that reference, but Patricia, absolutely.
I will.
Yeah.
These are the days of our lives.
Yep. Soap opera,
globe.
high drama coming. It is coming. We will be talking about it somewhat. Welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Just Google Flat Earth Mark. You can't find it? Well, you're just not very good at the internet. Currently, the show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And yes, Carolina, if it's not October 15th, 2024, otherwise known as the future, then you are listening to a rerun. Don't forget the show can be found on BitChute and Brighteon, Rockfin and Rumble and Spotify now, so check it out. YouTube is not the end of Flat Earth. It is only the beginning. Quote of the day goes exactly like this thing, which will be part of Clown World. A content creator went into the violent winds in Tampa, Florida, holding a blow-up mattress, an umbrella, and a pack of ramen noodles. He went outside Wednesday evening as the storm pounded the U.S. state and live-streamed on the platform Kick. he told his online audience if he reached 10,000 views, he would launch himself and his mattress into the water. When he hit 10,000, he took the plunge. Then he got worried. The wind started picking up, and I don't know how to swim. So I had to grab onto a tree. Who said that? Well, we'll tell you about that idiot later.
Well, at least he had ramen noodles to eat and water. So that's food right there.
Yes, I suppose that is a silver lining, Patricia. Speaking of which, my co-hosts are in the upper left, the perfect Patricia Steere, and in the upper right, the delightful DJ Curious. Hi, guys. How's it going?
Really good.
Up?
Another wonderful Tuesday I get to spend with you fine people. And by the way, Peanut Gallery, who you cannot see, and he's hanging on. Not 100%, but he's sitting there. In fact, I was going to say, he's not 100% because he's not smoking, but that's not going to stop him, by God.
He's smoking right now.
Yeah, he is smoking right now. Yep.
But welcome back, Cotter, to Peanut.
Yeah,
Yes.
Welcome back, Peanut. We missed you.
Yeah, we did.
And I know you can't hear him, but he's there. So...
It's just not the same without the visual.
No,
Ooh.
It's not. We'll have to include him. Anyway, hey, now that everybody's here, I have to tell you guys, y'all suck. And because that, it's hard to find Flat Earth friends. But there is an easy way to find cool people like yourself and solid info about our stationary horizontal level plane. The solution is simple. It's the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Watch the featured video every day for 2 weeks to see what happens. It'll be the best $2.99 you've ever spent. Oh, so sleepy. And because it's 10 p.m. on the East Coast, it's time to say goodnight to one of our listeners, Paige. She's just put on her adamant pajamas, got a cup of cocoa with exactly 6 tiny marshmallows, and will probably listen to the playback in the morning. Good night, Paige.
Not Adam and the ants. Stand and deliver your money. No.
Nope.
Oh, that would be cool.
No, this is adamant because most superheroes, as you know, were created by radioactivity. Or so said the Simpsons and their favorite superhero character known as Radioactive Man. It's like a running gag, which is how do you become a superhero? Oh, well, find a vat of radioactive waste, throw yourself in, you'll have random superhero powers. I don't think that's ever worked. Ever.
Well, I like the adamant I'm thinking of better. So, okay, fine.
Yeah, there's always
fine.
like a goo or something that morphs them into superhuman powers.
Yep. Spider-Man, radioactive spider, Fantastic Four, gamma radiation, goes on and on and on, with the exception of Superman, who just came from another planet. Shout-outs, real quick. To Flat Earther Stephen Carpenter of the Deftones. Support the Flat Earth cause. Get the coolest hoodies ever. Go to thestrong.family. Won't you pick up some merch? Deftones are touring in 2025. It's a very, very cool promo. Check it out if you get a chance. Hopefully they'll come up to Seattle. I'll go up and see him. Also, shout out to Zulu1, longtime listener of the show, for doing a simulcast stream on his channel, otherwise known as Zulu1, Zulune. And also, shout out to Karen B for, if you guys didn't already see, for doing the great catch on because it's not part of our headlines, the SpaceX rocket that supposedly landed back down, on their grab pad. And Karen pointing out, it's like, oh yeah, it's absolutely freaking fake, and here's why. And I got to admit, I didn't see it. Lots of people missed that sort of the little things, which was the people that were filming it. Even though they had the rocket supposedly in frame, it wasn't in frame on their camera. It wasn't there.
Right.
No point did you see the flame trail on those cameras.
No smoke coming out, nothing.
No. So
what were they actually watching?
Yeah, what was fake? Was it the crowd that was fake? Or was
Probably.
Yeah.
Because didn't Kamala, or whatever you want to call her, have one of her, tours or whatever, where there were hardly anyone there, but they patched in a crowd somehow?
Yes.
I don't know. And it was reflected in the bus, I think, that was there, and it showed nobody there.
Oh, the plane. Yeah. The
plane, bus. Yes, sorry. Right.
No, it's okay. And the crowd noise, I got to mention this. You guys, if you haven't watched it, it's on Karen B's channel, and I also grabbed it and stole it. Sorry, Karen. And I put it on my channel. No, it's totally worth it. Please grab it and repost it wherever you can, because it's a great little fake thing. What got me, and most people didn't talk about it, was because they were too worried on the visuals, was the crowd noise that they piped in. Especially
in the beginning, it's this incredible applause and screaming as if it's I don't know, maybe Super Bowl or something.
Now, I know that what they're going to say is, well, we piped in the crowd noise, because what they do for every freaking launch is they grab all the employees of SpaceX and they put them in the main lobby and they have them just jump up and down like idiots.
But if something's real, you don't need to fake it.
Right. And why would you pipe that noise out there? And again, are you really that enthusiastic? And I know that piping crowd noise into stadiums, whether it's a rock concert or an athletic event, especially football, has been very commonplace nowadays. Very common. So if a stadium's only 2/3 full, you can pipe it in and it hypes the crowd up a little more,
Or maybe even like bullet noise at a certain Las Vegas Bang Bang event. But maybe that's just my opinion.
There is that as well. Speaking of meetups, because we have a meetup in Vegas. 4 meetups real fast. October 20th, we got Vegas. That promo's on my channel. Meetup October 26th, that's in Minnesota. Also promos on my channel. October 27th, Indiana. No, I know that I've been to Indiana a couple times. I am not going to this meetup. You'll know if I'm going to a meetup or anybody else because I will put them in the title. So it'll be like a Mexico meetup with David Weiss in person or something like that. If the name's not in the title, they're not there. So please, I appreciate the people emailing me. It's like, oh, I'm going to meet you for no, you're not going to meet me. Not if my name's not in the title. The November 2nd, Southern New York, that's Binghamton. That's Binghamton, New York. So those 4 meetups are on my channel right now. Before we get into our little banter, I should probably run the Fast Earth Clues of the Week.
Oh, yes.
Which is called Moonshade. So what happens when I do this? So my flat earth friends messaged me saying, Mark, you forgot the most interesting moon point. Oh man, you're right. Let's break it down. Years ago, someone called me and said, did you know the moon is cold? And I said, what do you mean? It's colder at night? No, the moon is actually generating light that is cold. Is that a thing? Apparently it's a thing. But what does it mean? If the sun is out, then it's colder in the shade. Easy. What happens with the shade of the moonlight? It's exactly the opposite. It's warmer, and that's a problem if the moon is reflecting warm sunlight. We tested it, and you can too. Grab one of those cheap point-and-click thermometers, wait for a full moon high in the sky, and then look for the moon shade. Turns out it was up to 13 degrees warmer in the moon shade. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but always colder. If you magnify sunlight, you can burn things, but if you magnify moonlight, it gets even colder. Hey, science, if the moon is reflecting hot sunlight, then why is it acting like a self-contained cool laser? They sell those on Amazon, by the way. The sun is just a light bulb, and the moon is a cold night light rotating over our head, part of a giant ornamental clock that predates language. Why? Because the Earth is flat and we didn't build it. Do your own research and feel the truth for yourself. Whatever. I'm done. There you go.
Very good.
Yep.
They always say the moon is a woman. Well, the moon is a cold mistress, obviously.
Very true. The video I made, and again, for the people that either didn't understand because I was cramming a lot of information there in 60 seconds, is something that was brought up to me back in 2016, I think, late 2016, which was that the moon is actually self-illuminated and is generating a cold laser light. I laughed at it. Again, embarrassed the fact that I could laugh. Again, I was in flat earth for over a year. Someone brings that and say, hey, Mark, the moon's generating a cold laser light. Get the hell out of here. You're ridiculous. And it was true. Which again, I gave the people the basics, which was 2 things I wanted, the takeaways I wanted for everyone out there. I want, go out, spend $20, go to a hardware store, pick up a point-and-click infrared thermometer, it's not going to really help you much right now because the moon's going to be high in the sky, like a high noon moon. It can't be low on the horizon or it's not going to do much. And you can test between moon shade and moonlight. But the bigger thing was I put a link, and I don't generally do this, but I put a link to another video, a video that was not mine, which was from another channel that wasn't even flat earth. A guy that had predator vision camera, which could see a thermal camera, which front facing, and he went outside during a wonderful high moonlight, and he was walking around the neighborhood, shooting shadows and moonlight, and with the temperature gauge, which was right in the center of it, which you could record. And so I sped it up really fast for the end of the video just to give people the idea. Watch the video of his. It's only, I think, not even 4 minutes long. And
did the guy who was filming it understand what he was seeing?
Yes, he did. And by the end, he's like, I don't know what to tell you, because this is not good. This is, now he wasn't a severe anti-flat earther. He just look, he goes, this can't be true. And to this day, here we are, at least 8 years after this thing started out, no one wants to touch it. Trolls don't want to touch it. Hey, you want an experiment? Go out during the summer and run this experiment on moonlight. Or moreover, find me a scientific paper that even touches it. I don't think there's ever been one.
Well, because it really debunks the whole way they say everything is happening.
Right.
It's reflected sunlight. So what? What's it going to be? Warm.
Right.
Right?
Right. And when you're
because the sun is warm when you go outside and it hits your body.
Right. The moon should not be running negative numbers. At the very least, it should be a hair warmer, maybe neutral. It should absolutely not be generating a cold laser light. Thank God we invented cold laser light some years ago, and we use it in beauty products all the time. You know, the electronic beauty products. It's a real thing. Cold laser is a real thing. It's just a frequency. But the fact that the moon is generating it is now again, and I've said this many times, which is, does it prove the flat Earth? No.
It proves something's wrong with what they've told us.
Right. It means...
And it's death by 1,000 cuts. All these things are proving that something's wrong about what they've told us.
Right. And to this day, I don't want to drag it out, but to this day, no scientist has ever touched it. And so, please...
They don't want to draw attention to it.
No, why would you? Sorry, go ahead.
It's so interesting, though, because before I got into Flat Earth, I was looking into the moon, trying to understand what it was exactly from just a scientific aspect. And there's so little information on the moon, actually, if you go looking for it, just on the globe side.
And we went there, supposedly, several times. So why wouldn't there be more information?
And that was weird to me. And then when you get into Flat Earth, it's like, oh, my God, I started to learn so much more about the moon that I was kind of knew that there was got to be more to it. So that the fact that it does give off its own light, just like the Bible says it does, also was another aha moment I had as I was on my Bible study quest and was being led into more truth. And it was like, yeah, his and hers lights, one to rule the day, one to rule the night.
Yep.
It's its own source of antiseptic and septic. The sun and the moon. I think Eric Debate put so many great points on how the moon is like a neutralizing, cooling light, almost like a silver light that, if you think about, the sun is going across everything and energizing, and then the moon is going over there and like sealing it up like shampoo and conditioner. This whole place is just so well organized and well thought out that the moon has major roles in so many things that we just don't even attribute it to, besides the tides. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right. And the putrefaction that some used to say in the old days about what the moonlight would do to food, or, it was kind of like a bad thing, an evil thing, the moon. But maybe people were scared of, darkness at that time. But they did say that light is bad for food and people,
right?
And of course would make you moon crazy people come out then, supposedly, too. So
I don't think that's got to be true. I bet it's probably good for your skin. You can get a suntan and then at night get a little cooling moonlight tan.
Get some cold laser.
Neutralizing.
Cold laser treatment tonight. I'll be out there
again, the fact that we sell, you can go on Amazon all day long and you can type in, cold laser light thing, and you will see in the health and beauty section just a ton of them. They've been around there for years. And the 13 degrees, I want to clarify for people that want to know, and I think you can still find it on his channel somewhere in the archives. The 13 degrees Fahrenheit difference was first discovered by Rob Skiba back in the day. He was not shy about, remember, he went, took with Rick Hummer, he took the boat across Lake Michigan. He also was like, he was going,
it's not a mirage.
I'm going to figure this. I will give credit to Rob. When he wanted to know something, he did not hesitate. And so he filmed himself, going out and talking to locals, and he, he grabbed just some random people off the street, guys that were out there, construction guys, for whatever reason they were out at night, like a night crew. He's like, look, I just want to, because they were familiar with the equipment more than he was. And he goes, I just want to verify what I'm seeing here. And they were looking, going, holy smokes, how is this even happening? And again, it's, hidden in plain sight. People didn't know any difference. So,
well, just imagine how cold it must have been for the astronauts on the moon at night.
Oh, you're really you're gonna get me started on that? Yeah, the spacesuit, from everything from
the suit that would protect them from the sun during the day. Yeah. I'd like that material if I could, please.
Yeah, 200 plus 200 degrees on the positive, negative 200 degrees in the shade, no problem. And fast forward to the Tesla Roadster in space, which I believe was 2017.
Yes.
No problem. Standard
with the paint, the tires.
Yeah, nothing blew up. The tires should have exploded. Every pressurized system should have exploded. The window should have spider webbed. The front windshield should have been a mess. And it was the convertible version. They had no protection. He verified that. It's like, no, they just hooked the car out of my garage. Freaking tool. So drive your car out.
Plus the fact that it all just doesn't look like it adds up. I mean, it looks like it's put together with umbrellas and duct tape, right? And then you think, where did they even put that little rover on the moon? And then how'd they get back to? I mean, literally, if you just start to break it down and use common sense, it falls apart. It's crazy.
Yep. Peanut's comment. Thank you, Peanut. This is why we pay the big bucks not to be here for 5 weeks. Drive your car out of a warm garage on a freezing day. Yep. Yeah, bad things.
Explain.
Well, bad things happen when you do extreme temperature shifts, even here, even when we're only talking about like 40 or 50 degree swings, depending, or maybe 70 or 80.
So I've tried it, but I mean, I used to live in Michigan. It was quite cold, and I drove somewhere from my garage, which wasn't heated, but it was warmer than the outdoors, and then drove outside, and nothing happened. What is supposed to happen? Could it crack your windows?
Yeah, your windows will be the first to go. Which is
heated. Mine was just a normal temperature, just a bit shielded from the snow.
Especially if you've already got a ding or two in the windshield. Now, I know where DJ is in Los Angeles. You guys don't have to deal with it because it's always perfect weather all the time. But people that live,
of course.
Yeah, the people that live in snow, I mean, Michigan, Minnesota, up there near the Iron Range, yada, hey, it's bad. It's super, super bad. Which is why they always tell you, like one of the first things they tell you is if you're thawing out your windshield, never use hot water. Ever.
Oh, I used to do it all the time.
What's wrong with you?
I didn't know.
Did it ever go on you? Did it ever?
Nothing bad ever happened.
Never shattered. Whoa.
Yeah, no. I don't know.
But I mean, I guess it is bad. I just didn't know any other way. Sometimes my lock to the door, it was before we had the clicker locks. I'm talking a long time ago. Yeah. And I wasn't able to unlock the door, so I would just throw hot water on it.
The Tesla should have been a freaking disaster, and yet it was absolutely perfect. The car was completely pristine, and the 3 HD cameras, which had no problems with transmission at all, absolutely flawless, the 3 of them. And then no wear and tear in the car, spinning around in the sun and the shit.
And then we just it just went off into wherever, and we don't ever hear about it anymore.
Right. Again, they said, we're going to send it off to Mars now.
But they didn't track it because they're able to find things. I mean, they're supposedly able to send something to Mars. So the Mars rover. So why didn't they put some kind of tracker thing on the car in space and see where it goes and how long the signal would last?
Right. And they turned off
because it was a lie.
They turned off the camera, proving yet again one of my proofs, which is find me an object that has left Earth orbit pointing back at the Earth to where the Earth actually gets smaller and starts shrinking away in the distance, or even becoming an Earth at all. It's never happened in the history of space travel. Elon, apparently the smartest man in the world. No, we can't. The fact that people, I'm sorry, I will be ranting about him later when we get to headlines, but again, Bill Gates, never accused of being the smartest man in the world. Steve Jobs, even Stephen Hawking, right? Arguably, when he was walking around and not in a wheelchair, was very, very smart, right? But
that machine that pretended to be him, that was pretty smart.
Ow, you're hurting me.
Yeah.
You remember that Family Guy?
It'll be turned into spaghetti.
Yeah. Elon, he's just the epitome of the guy who gives us the most ick right now, right?
Oh, yes, God. He is.
And it's
ick Musk.
It's amping up deliberately. I mean, it's not an accident that the rocket thing that happened, what was it, yesterday? And the robot thing, which we'll talk about, and the taxi thing, which we'll talk about. It's all happening because right now, I'm sorry, let me mention.
Well, when Elon jumped up behind Trump and showed his stomach, that was also ick for me.
Yeah, that's what I thought of exactly. Remember we talked about Tom Cruise jumping on the couch being like, I'm so in love with Katie Holmes. That was the originator of the most ick moment in television. And then fast forward now we have Elon.
Elon should have never done it. It's like, look, you never want to put yourself in a position to become a meme. There you have it. He's a meme. Doesn't matter how much money you have. And all these things are happening because the election, as you guys know, is 3 weeks away, 3 weeks from today.
But what man is wearing, well, I guess some men might, a shirt that short that when you jump up, your whole stomach is exposed? What's he wearing, a crop top?
You've seen this guy. He has, with the exception of formal events and somebody dresses him, for those, there's no fashion sense to speak of.
I'm talking about like an older, like guy his age, not some like young, hot, trendy guy. So
Hey,
maybe that's what he thinks he is.
Yeah, the conspiracy theorists were going crazy though with he had like a pentagram on his belt, and
Yeah.
then apparently this whole thing is like some sort of Baphomet or
Masonic,
Baal
whatever.
sign. So the conspiracy theorists are like going really wild with like he's just this Satan worshiper.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, that
Or
and
not.
the look the stare he gave Trump when
Dark
he
MAGA.
when he leaned in. Yeah, and what the heck's dark MAGA? Where's that coming? Is that
We've got dark mode, light mode on computers, and the MAGA hat or MAGA hat is black. When I first read dark MAGA, when he was there wearing the dark Trump hat, I thought it said drunk MAGA. I swear, like that's how I read it. That makes more sense.
dark MAGA means to me the it's just part of the Marvel television universe. I mean, it seems science fiction-y.
Yes, of course. There's that aspect to it as well.
Yeah,
because Elon's involved.
Okay, but why are they like promoting him as this little space darling and innovator and all these wonderful things? But then you have the left media now kind of villainizing him. Like, what is going on with all this?
Because it's a great question, DJ. Which is why is Elon both the savior, the technocrat savior, and also he's hated by Blue Team, and that is
the political thing.
Yeah,
I mean, Blue Team doesn't like
Trump.
Well, yeah, it doesn't like Trump. It doesn't like the vaccine guy. What's his name? Oh my gosh, I can't think now.
Fauci?
Bill
Gates?
Bill Gates. Okay. Blue Team loves Bill Gates. Why couldn't I think of that?
That's all right.
I'm trying to block him out of my mind.
Yeah.
So Red Team, Blue Team likes to get vaccinated.
Right.
But they don't like Elon. Elon is Red Team.
Right.
So these two men are hated by one side and loved by the other.
Elon decided he was going to pick a side. So he is all in for Red Team. He wants a White House cabinet position. In fact, he wants one that's made up. They don't even have a name for it yet.
Well, he has a made-up space agency, so hey, why not?
Yeah, they're going to give... So he won't be...
Space Force, the made-up space brand.
That was the biggest joke.
He won't be Secretary of Defense or Secretary of the Treasury or any of that crap. They're thinking, but again, that's if he wins. So anyway, he's all in on Red Team. Therefore, Blue Team automatically hates him. Again, the fact that he's standing behind Trump in that massive crowd means that the Blue Team media is just going to come after him, which is great. I'm happy. It's like great, torch him all day long.
Why are these controllers, the puppeteers, allowing this right now? What are they wanting us to feel or think, or what's happening?
Well,
pick a side, either side.
I will be talking. So my next Fast Earth clue, which initially was going to be why, is going to be postponed for at least a week, because next week I am going to do a Fast Earth clue called Election 24. I've got to get it out there now while there's still time, because remember, it's 3 weeks from today when the election happens. And then the show we do next week, I don't know what's going to be called, but the show after that, the week before the election, we're going to do a show. I'm thinking of calling it Presidents and Precedents. See what I did?
Nice.
Yeah, see what I did there? Where we're going to talk about, because remember, there's only been, we're only on President 46 in our entire history. There's only been...
That's just weird to think.
I know. Well, the average age of a country is only 200 years, and we're at 248. That's not good. So
where's everybody when it comes to who now? Of course, elections. There are selections, and
there's selections.
Mark and I don't vote. DJ, do you vote?
Are you going to vote this year, DJ? Oh, there you go.
All
He's
right,
not going to talk about it. Good.
Fair enough.
I mean, look, I don't want to say it's going to piss off too many people. My answer, but how about we'll see.
That's all right.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having an opinion different than Mark's and I's. Although we'll hate you.
Oh yeah, no, we are ready.
Okay, first of all, I was raised
Jehovah's Witnesses,
so they don't even vote. So I always grew up with the mindset that it didn't matter who you vote for, that God puts those people in power. Whether they really crave it and it ends up being for bad, I don't understand that. I'm trying to understand it, but I do think things that work out without us really having to stress about it.
Gotcha.
Voting for small local people, which is something that Peanut just sort of put in the message, but I was thinking the same thing. That might be okay to do.
Yeah, local.
I mean, anything's okay to do. Do you, as they say.
Local, you can do what you want. This election, and again, I am not going to. I will not be able to overstate this. This will be the most dramatic election ever.
So where are you? I still think that Trump, I'm going to say, has a chance. I know it's already predetermined, but I still think maybe even if it's all set for blue team to continue what they've been doing, I still think that maybe they'd put Trump in because of all the chaos that would cause. What do you, have you not budged, Mark? You're just seriously, it's going to be Kamala?
No. It won't matter. And I will ask your opinion in a second, DJ. It won't matter because it's going to be contested. Meaning we've already, remember the pre-voting, they're already lining up at certain polls and we're 3 weeks out and there's already people starting to, like the early concert goers. But it won't matter because both sides can contest it. Blue team is already saying behind the scenes, there's grumbling. It's like, we will not ratify if Trump wins. And if she wins, red team's going to lose their freaking minds. And there'll be a big army of both red team politicians and blue team politicians, both surging forward saying, we have the president-elect. Which has never happened, and I will stress this in the video, the short that I'm going to make next week. It's never happened. We've had 58 elections. Every one of them, there's been somebody that's conceded. It's like, okay, you won, that person conceded, election over. This one, neither side's going to cave in. But
will there be fire? That's what I want to know.
I don't know because we're in uncharted territory. I mean, At one point you could say, I know there's arguments both sides, and look, I don't vote, so I don't care. One side you could say, okay, she never won a primary, and he's a convicted felon while he was, after he was president. So, okay, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, but I can tell you that both sides are going to fight tooth and nail. I've said several times that if blue team wins, red team, the Republican Party is doomed. It's over because if you can take someone, Kamala, remember she's been a candidate for only 3 months, not even 3 months. And if
all the things she says she could do or will do if elected, why didn't she do them when she was in office?
Right. Yeah. One of the most unremarkable VPs since Dan Quayle. I know that dates me, but if basically what I'm saying, if they can put Kamala in, they can put anybody in, which means they will run the table, which means red team knows this. And so again, which is why it's Elon. Ugh. He's like, this will be probably the last election. It's like, whatever. You know what? He didn't make that one up. Sorry, DJ, you wanted to say something.
Yeah.
Oh, I just think the controllers are effing with us because, they spent all this time bashing Kamala, be like, who do you think I am? That just fell off a coconut tree or whatever that clip was that went viral, and it was her saying the same thing over and over.
Right.
I mean, even my liberal left side globe friends, yes, they're my friends. They could be watching now. I respect the political process. I want to believe in democracy, But it is a little bit odd that we didn't vote for this person. She gets the nominee. And then now all of a sudden we're supposed to rally behind her. And I'm seeing my friends go, they're just kind of apathetic toward it. They don't actually care. They're not fired up like what you would think they would be because they kind of subconsciously know that something's not right here. So I'm just more thinking about what's the consequence if she gets elected versus what's the consequence of Trump and what happens going forward, kind of the unknown.
Right. Two quick things. One, Peanut wanted to remind me, because if you guys want to watch some, again, high drama tomorrow, Kamala is going on Fox News tomorrow to do an interview on Fox News tomorrow night. And
will she have those earrings on that may or may not give her a direct line to somebody telling her what to say? I don't know.
Look, it's 3 weeks. Awesome. It's 3 weeks before the election.
I want those.
She shouldn't be there. Meaning, that's the last thing any political campaign manager is going to tell you. It's like, no, you don't want her. What, you're going to put her in enemy territory 3 weeks before the election? No.
She's probably very confident, or her team is.
No. This is what, no. Peanut's shaking his head. No, you do this because you want her. Again, you can't look good going into that arena. They are going to, it's going to be Brett Baer. He's going to hit her as hard as he can. At least I would think so. And when it's over,
literally, what time's that on?
Peanut, what time is it on tomorrow night? Look it up if you get a chance. So after that, red team will be like, we got it. She looks so bad, and then blue team, it's like, why did she go on that show? And
same as when Trump was in debate number 2, he did really bad.
There you go.
And sort of the same.
So it'll be 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. So,
and I do want to let people know who might be saying, this is a flat earth show and conspiracies. Why are you talking about politics? We got away from politics in mainstream TV. We're really not talking about politics per se. We are talking about lies and the way the controllers are,
Oh yeah,
getting at us.
Look.
So.
I will stop talking after this thing is over. But leading up to it, you got to understand, this is not a normal.
It's the greatest show on earth right now.
Yeah, this is not a normal.
That's what it feels like. It just feels like entertainment.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is pure drama. The fact that you could do a search. It's like, who's winning the election right now? You could Google that. You will get just a barrage of all sides. It's like, she's surging ahead. He's surging ahead. They could lose. They're just going back and forth. It's like a freaking horse race, where the horses are nose and nose going down to the end, or greyhounds or whatever you want to use. And it doesn't make any difference because to answer your question, it's like Patricia's question, which is like, what happens if Kamala wins? What happens if Trump wins? Right. But again, assuming either side would cave in, which they wouldn't, I wouldn't think, because they have 2 months to concede. You have until the election on November 5th, until the inauguration on January 20th. Up until then, you don't have to concede crap. You can just say, at which point the United States is rudderless. So hypothetically, if blue team wins, or if it's in dispute, then I think some weird stuff could happen to the country, because a woman president, no offense to women out there, is not recognized by a lot of nations out there that are male dominated. The patriarch in nations be like, a woman. It's like, we're lucky we let him walk the streets at all. Let alone become president. If Paul was all of a sudden leader of the United States, the proposed leader, it's like, okay, let's take a swipe at America, that sort of thing. If Trump actually won, again, it's the lesser of two evils when it comes to what might happen, but maybe crash the market. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, how does this serve the New World Order? My conspiracy brain just wants to know, how does this set the stage and set a stepping stone to total domination?
Okay, because America has always been a giant pain in the ass to the New World Order. We hate taking orders. We hate doing what we're told. I mean, come on. Patricia remembers, we couldn't even get the metric system installed here. They tried for less than a year. Peanut remembers this. It didn't do crap. I was in 6th grade. They were trying to teach us the metric system, and it was like, yeah, it's not going to work. We couldn't even do that. So America's always done what it wanted to, and and people look up to us. People still look, over in the Middle East. I've heard it many times.
And in many countries, guns have been taken away, but not here.
No, can't. It's too late. You can't put the genie back in that bottle. So,
but we are very, very, very controlled and brainwashed in America. Let's not mince any words.
There was a story that I was gonna run, but I'm not gonna run it yet because we're not there yet. Which is, there's starting to be, everyone knows with the younger generation, the phones run them. The social media has now dominated. And what was interesting, there was a poll that came out recently, and half the kids said they wish that TikTok never existed. And that's because the social pressure is so hard, it's so fast that they don't. And if you can't keep up, and DJ knows this, if you can't keep up on social media, especially if you're a kid, what's your worth? Who are you? You're nobody. And all of a sudden, depression, especially if you're a girl. Oh my God, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, all these beautiful girls, and they are beautiful and young, but also some of them are being helped along by, filters and such.
Oh, yeah.
And so much competition, and clothing for girls is much cheaper, the fast, trendy fashions, than it used to be when I was in high school. So having hot new looks that are always coming at you is much easier for girls and probably guys to do. Right. Having the latest toys and accessories is so much cheaper now than when we were kids. And there's competition, of course, has always been there in high schools for kids and junior highs back before social media and even computers, but it was only within your school. Now the kids are competing with people all over the world that are on these apps. Yeah. And it really, I believe, is creating a lot of psychological damage for a lot of young people.
Huge amounts.
Absolutely. It was so hard just, being compared to each other in your own school. Now imagine being compared to what everyone else looks like and is doing and what they're achieving. And you got to be able to dance, and you got to be funny. And then the more outrageous you are, the more views you get. So then you start trying to outdo each other, and then it's just endless spiral of just this horrible cycle.
And there's plastic surgery now that wasn't really happening when I was in high school, and Ozempic as well, which definitely wasn't around when I was in high school. That it's making people I mean, everyone in high school is concerned as you're going through puberty about how they look. It's just hardwired into humans. Maybe not people that live in tribes or something, but maybe, who knows? But it's a lot worse, a whole lot worse.
Way worse.
So, and when you're
eating
a kid, you don't realize
disorders,
how much you're going to change. You don't realize your mind is still developing, your body is still changing. You're going to grow into a lot of your features. You just don't know all of that, and it can be depressing. I mean, it was depressing enough for myself, which I know no one's going to know sympathy, but I'm just saying. It was, and I can only imagine with the pressure of what they have today. But these are things that my friends and I talk a lot about, and you do hear from parents. A lot of my friends now are parents, and they are dealing with the ramifications of this generation that are going through it, and it's not good. It's not healthy for them. The depression rate is so high, and a lot of them are on medications really young, and so, it's just another reason of where's the hope, and that's what
the hope's in Elon. Yay!
Well, that, and to DJ's point, what hopeful message? What celebrity is giving a message of hope? It's all about the metrics. It's all about the branding. It's all about, and again, the gold mine of some kid did something that resonated, and now the kids have to mimic it, even though they don't want to. It's like trying to cash in on it. Once the first person does, the clones are gonna grab as much as they can.
Okay, perfect example. The Hook Tua girl, who now has her own podcast and got famous overnight. Now you're going to have other girls and boys that are like, well, I could say something more outrageous and maybe I'll get famous.
Yeah. And you know who jumped on that? Who's her producer?
Who?
Jake Paul.
He's
the one that finances. I know.
That hurts.
He's the one that finances her show. Of course he did. And it doesn't surprise you. You remember the Asian girl from Vancouver some years ago, Lil Tay? You remember her? The trash talking. Gosh, was she 10 or 11? Could not drive, and she was like talking, throwing down gang signs in front of these Lambos and crap.
Oh, I remember one called Bad Baby. That was this sort of, hard to say this, but white trash girl that was doing the same thing, like Catch Me Outside kind of thing.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Look up, if you guys want to look up a little time capsule, look up a little girl called Lil Tay, Liltay.
She's still alive?
Yeah, she
That's
is.
Interesting.
And she faked her own death like a year ago, and people call.
That's the best way to see if your ex-boyfriend's still in love with you or not, or girlfriend.
Well, she did it because she fell out of favor for a while because people realized it's like, wait, those aren't her cars. What, you didn't realize she wasn't not even old enough to drive, and yet she's talking smack in front of a Lamborghini. It's like, what'd you think? It was a great act, but again, who latched onto her almost immediately and dragged her into a podcast? Logan and Jake. It's like whatever's red hot, they will grab.
Wherever it's red hot and low level, they'll take it.
Again, not to go off, and I don't want to drag it out, but the axis of evil, the Lunchley thing,
America,
in some ways, where Logan and KSI, who I never followed from England, and Jimmy Donaldson from Mr. Beast, they created their own lunch product that's competing with Lunchables, blah blah blah. So yeah,
and Lunchables are super horrible for you, kind of basically made of plastic.
But it's a bad message to send to kids because all they care, it's like, okay, let me throw out one more for you really quick. When I remember meeting some kids in New Zealand at the New Zealand conference. You weren't at that dinner we went at with one of the Maori guys. And I was asking his son, we were talking about PewDiePie. And they were like, PewDiePie? And it's like, oh, dude, he's so legit. He's all this stuff. And it's like, why is he legit? Dude, he's got 30 million subs. And it's like, so that's credibility to you. Again, it's all about the numbers. And because he has the numbers. And sorry, one more thing. I don't want to drag this out, which is the documentary Fake Famous. There was a great line in it which said, the documentary guy said, he goes, you realize that there are millions of kids out there, millions, with at least 100,000 Instagram followers.
Millions.
And he goes, it's like, there's only 10,000 famous people in the world at a given time. Who are these kids? They're nobody. They just bought the Instagram followers because they can buy them from cheap from the offshore accounts.
Well, it is scary how many kids want to grow up to be influencers when we know this is just not, there's no substance here. There's not a foundation that everyone can be an influencer and have that kind of broad.
No, there is.
And influencing somebody generally when it comes to these social media platforms isn't influencing them to be a good person or be honest or be kind or be loving or be generous among your friend group or look to a creator or maybe you look into the shape of the earth. It's influencing them to buy new things, try new fast food, and just like the worst.
Yeah, consume.
Right, and who is the good role model? Like, if you had to pick out of anyone out there in the public eye, who's the best role model?
The fact that the three of us are sitting here in silence.
Yeah, they're going to say Taylor Swift.
Well, yeah, no, that's until you said that, and I wasn't even going to say that because it's like, yeah, but Taylor's so manufactured, and really, that's the problem. What message is she throwing out there? I'm not saying that she's sending a bad message. I mean, compared to most of the other musical artists,
just a fun,
she's
superficial
she's a bright light
message.
But find me. I mean, look, like back in the day, people used to look up to like Gwyneth Paltrow, for example. And then the Gwyneth hate started because, she was full of herself. But find me.
Well, within the celebrity world, even the ones that do good or donate, they're only doing it to feather their own nest in some way for the most part. Or they have a deep political leaning one way, right or left, which is ick. And is there anybody doing anything good? I think the people that are doing the most good are the unsung heroes, probably many within our own community with hardly any subs who are just doing their best to help other people and to help educate. And
that's basically it. When's the last time I read a TMZ story about somebody that did something really, really, I mean, every once in a while you get a celeb. It's like, oh, look, he stopped and helped this person during a car wreck. It's like, yeah, but that's just.
Yeah, but wouldn't we all do that?
Yeah,
if
it's like he was just there. I mean, lots of people would have done that. But yeah, you're right. Most of the time, because they're part of the machine, they're part. They care about brand, and they're just not in a position to do that, and they're not told by their managers to do so.
I find that question really powerful when I'm talking to my Globe friends who aren't really sure either. I think that's really alarming, and that's one reason why I started learning about Jesus. I mean, just full disclosure, I was like, who is a better example than what claims to be God in the physical form? And so that was one of the reasons why I went on a spiritual journey, just to understand, just who can we trust? Who is a great role model? Who would you leave with your kids, babysitting? You know what I mean? It's like, it's really scary.
Right.
If you don't even believe in Jesus, the idea of Jesus, the concept of Jesus and the whole, what would Jesus do? That is probably the best role model anybody could think of.
Yeah, but now you see those memes where it's like you do something kind of, whatever, maybe not in the best form, and then it's got that meme of Jesus like staring you down, and everyone kind of like, and it could be funny because it's like, yeah, would you do this? What would Jesus say? But he's not looking to point the finger and judge us. I think that's where a lot of people get this misconception. So, it's been nice for me, and I shared on that one episode my spiritual kind of thoughts in very direct form. But I think that for morality goes, we really do need to kind of entertain that possibility that the best moral judge is Jesus. So
there you go. Well, I mean, there's a reason why he's on so many T-shirts, right? And his book is a bestseller. My sister, in fact, gave me a T-shirt just recently. I'm not going to wear it on the show. In fact, I haven't worn it yet. It's still sitting new in my closet. But it's your standard Jesus pose. He's sitting there in his robes, and there's beams of light coming off of him. And up above it says disappointments. Down below it says all of you.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
That's terrible. She goes, I thought of you when I bought it. And I go, oh, that's nice.
At least your sister bought you something. That's nice. It seems a bit out of character.
It is. You're right. Good point. My sister does not buy me a lot of gifts. Well, she's been, ever since the pandemic hit, she's been more. I will say this, backfired on the Illuminati world, which is the pandemic turned a lot of people towards the truth community. Because it lasted a long time, and it wasn't just people that stayed home or were going down rabbit holes on different social media platforms. It was because they were stuck at home and they were forced at home. And it's like, it only takes you so long. It's like, you know what? This seems a little pre-done, little stage, and it's like, yeah, it's possible.
My brother and I became closer. We were already close, but we became closer. He didn't get involved in the truth community, but he did eventually see through the vax thing and didn't get it, and was talking to me a lot, and I was so happy about that. But he thinks all the other things I believe in are wrong, and I'm dumb, I guess. But he's big on the moon landing, and
Hey, while I got you guys, I want to talk about really quick because we have a little time before the break. Patricia and I, we were going back and forth. I was going to do an interview on Thursday with a Flat Earth channel. And I just want to mention this really quick because the division on the whole Antarctica thing is still happening. And it's not really slow. I won't say it's necessarily picking up, but it's not slowing down either. Where Jaren's being thrown under the bus a lot. Witsit not as much yet. But there.
Why Jaren, not Witsit, as much?
Because Witsit again. I'm not picking on Jaren. Witsit's vocabulary. He's smoother when it comes to making his way through a conversation. He doesn't.
So basically, Jaren sometimes just says stuff that's so blunt, with sharp edges. Yeah. That doesn't really express what he really meant, but sounds like something else.
Right.
And
Jaren gets painted into a corner sometimes, and his only way out is brute force. And it as you know, the trolls with anything in the internet, once you say it, it sticks. And so he said a few things where it almost made it seem like, maybe I'll leave Flat Earth if I this whole sun thing doesn't pan out in Antarctica, and that's all the trolls had to hear. To where it's like, oh my God, we're totally going to run with this, which is again why you would never invite me, because as I've said many times, is like the sun in Antarctica has nothing to do with the curve. It has nothing to do with space programs. It has nothing to do with physics, especially gravity. So what are you doing? And most people that get into our circles don't even mention Antarctica.
I never thought about it.
Sun. And they won't mention Antarctica, like the top 10 things of Antarctica, the interesting things. Never bring up the sun. We bring up all sorts of Antarctic Treaty being like one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, for sure.
And
that is one of them.
Anyway.
Yeah, Jaren's being thrown under the bus, and he kind of throws himself under the bus, if that makes sense sometimes. But I do not think Jaren is meaning to. No. I don't think Jaren is a glow believer, as he has been accused of.
And I just want to be on the record is like, look, I don't cancel.
I could be wrong, but that's what I think at this point.
I don't cancel interviews very often, and I'm not going to name the channel. Because honestly, I forgot his name, and I'd butcher the name even if it wasn't the front part of my brain, which is I don't cancel him very often, but in this case I had to because I don't want to be put in the position where I'm defending Jaren unnecessarily. But I'll tell people a million times over, it's like, look, until Jaren all of a sudden makes a video, it's like, you know what, I'm a Glober now. He hasn't. Right. So until
why is this such a thing? Are these actual real flat earth trolls, or are they just people pretending to be flat earthers that are trolling?
No, they're real flat earthers, I think.
There can't be that many of them. Like, who cares? We went over this a million times. If they see two suns, it just means we don't fully understand how this place works.
Because
we don't anyway. I
can't give you a television or movie reference, but they're purists. Like with any group, especially like a flat Earth army, you have purists that do not compromise at all for anything. And if you even think about compromising, you're going to get browbeaten. It's like, why are you even thinking about talking to these guys, right? Why are you even talking to trolls? Why are you even going down to Antarctica, right? Those guys. It's like you shouldn't even be entertaining this as an idea at all. And it's like, yeah, at some point you're going to run into somebody. It's like, what, free trip to Antarctica? Sure, why not?
And also, if you are asked to go and you don't go, you might be, in a way, aren't we supposed to test all things? Aren't we supposed to? Right. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done I know if I would have been asked, no one would ever ask me. But if I were asked, I wouldn't want to go. And actually, it's because it's cold and uncomfortable and I don't want to. I'm not joking.
But
those are my reasons.
Perfect excuse to wear your best fur coat.
Well, I have a lot of nice fake fur coats. I probably could have, but
it wouldn't be enough.
In reality,
It wouldn't be
No,
enough. It'd be awful.
Just don't want to go. And that's not because I want to hide from the truth. It's just not my interest.
Right.
So, for some people it is their interest, and they decided they would go and just see it for themselves, which is great. So I think people should withhold their judgment until the people in question see it and say what they saw and what they think about what they saw. Then
I just realized
fire
I never even got
away
asked
if
to
you
go. Will Duffy, if you have all these extra tickets laying around because so many people have turned it down, and then you wanted to say a flat earther scammed you out of an extra ticket, well, all those ones that aren't going to use, how about me? I'm happy to go to Antarctica.
Would you go?
That would be so great.
You'd have fun with it.
It's not. I don't even think it's really going to happen, guys. So,
what the trip?
I honestly think it's like so for show that it's probably not even going to happen. Because why does
That's
it go around
what
acting
I
like,
thought.
Yeah,
now I'm thinking it might.
Oh, you can go Eric debate. Oh, but second Eric says no. Oh, we made a video about it. Eric turned it down. Will Duffy's just documenting that he went and talked to every flat earther and they all turned it down. And that way, whatever happens, if he knows there's going to be something that he can see, then he'll be like, ha ha ha. Oh, I proved all these people wrong. They didn't want to face the truth. Or, he's just creating buzz for nothing.
He is, and it's I will give him credit where he's making it to where the funnel all goes to him. Meaning, if this thing caught traction, I don't think it will, because the mainstream media doesn't know how to explain it anyway. Because again, it's not an easy thing to explain. It's like 24-hour sun in Antarctica. You'd ask the average person, they'd stare at you again and make chicken noises.
Yeah, average people don't even know what the heck that even is.
No,
really.
It's like Antarctica sun. So, but if the mainstream media did latch onto it, everything would go to Will Duffy, and he'd be like, yep, it's all me. I'm the one that did this. But if you think for a second, two things. If you think for a second that Austin is going to come back from this, Austin, right, just alone. I mean, the fact that you haven't really talked, you've been focusing on Jaron. If Austin's going to come back and be like, oh yeah, man, it's not chill at all. It's like, it's bad. It's I'm totally globe now. You are dreaming. Absolutely dreaming. That man's got more bullets in his holster against the globe. He's just going down there for the hell of it, because why wouldn't he go?
And it's good to accompany, Jaron. I don't think it's good.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to go down
there
alone.
to be only a couple of flat earthers. No. There's the girl whose name I don't remember.
Oh, right.
DJ, you remember her name?
Lizbeth.
So, yeah. So it's good that there's not just one flat earther going.
No. So we will.
Gimmick.
One more thing is the part that bugs me the most is they're treating it like it's new, like it's a brand new thing we've never thought of. It's never come up in conversation. And that it proves
everything. Yeah. It's the end. It's
like
the final.
I have literally been asked what is the weakest point, the sticking point of flat Earth since 2015, and I came up with it almost immediately when I've said it again and again and again and again, which is, oh yeah, the Antarctic sun, 24-hour sun. I go, that's the weakest point, because if it is there, then there's something going on with the light source, which we don't know, period. And it doesn't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But I've asked this before. I'll just ask it again.
Yeah.
Do we have any insider info on what is going on into Antarctica already on the flat side?
You mean when it comes to the sun?
Yep. Do we have anyone that has already looked into this?
I had a guy from National Geographic back when Patricia and I did the National Geographic thing. You were already back at the hotel, where he came to me on the side. He goes, look, just so you know, I was down there a couple of years ago, and I saw the Antarctic sun, the 24-hour sun. We had gone out to lunch with this guy, and he seemed like a nice enough guy. I trusted him, and he had no reason to lie to me in private. So, and he goes, what do we do with that? So for me, it's like, it didn't carry that much weight, DJ, because one, again, the average person, I know this sounds like a cop-out, but it's not. The average person doesn't understand it, not by a long shot. So, I mean, even if we tried to explain it to someone, they're not going to understand it. And the other part is nobody goes to Antarctica. Between those two... And also,
the average person is not going to hear that on a news talk show if Will Duffy makes a circuit on those things, no. and hears about the 24-hour sun in Antarctica, and it's there. The average person isn't going to make the connection, even if it's said that disproves flat Earth. The average person thinks the Earth's not flat anyway. It's the AE map that it might blow a few holes in.
Sure.
That's a good point, right? Because on the Gleason map, it says you won't see the sunlight past a certain south parallel, correct?
Right.
Okay.
And sorry, go ahead.
And Flat Out Truth, he did a couple great videos. Shout out to Terry Eicher on this Antarctica sun or not. And it seems from his channel that he's confident that we would not see. So Terry, if you're listening, help us out here. But I'm just surprised there aren't more insiders that have come forward either way. After
almost 10 years, in fact, a couple people. Oh, look, it's cats. The this would have come out a long time ago. This, if this was the silver bullet. Sorry, one more thing before we go to break. If this was the silver bullet everyone's been looking for, it would have been used years ago. In fact, a decade ago. And it would have been, and scientists would have called me and said, oh, it's the Antarctic sun. That's it. Flat Earth is done. However, they know full well the Antarctic sun is very, very limited in its range of what it applies to, which is it applies to Antarctica. It only applies to the sun. And it only applies during a certain part of the year, a place where nobody goes and nobody understands it. We can't even get people to
because it's about the map that we've got.
Right.
If there was no AE map, and there are a couple of maps that people do claim work, and I'm not doubting that that's true. I don't know a lot about it. They could work with those maps or some maps yet discovered. It doesn't mean the Earth's a globe. That's the thing about this that is shady for sure.
Because it's in the sky. And we know so very little. Again, all our tests are down pretty much on the ground. There's only so much we can tell. So it's fine. We will see. I'm getting ahead of myself because because it's after November 5th. I'm not even. It's like, okay, yeah. You think that everything's going to be fine right after November 5th? You guys are going to be doing a trip, fine, great. I'm not betting anything yet on that.
All the airports will be burned down from the election by then.
No fly zone everywhere. The whole map will be freaking red.
Lockdown part 2.
Okay, we're going to go to our one and only break, and when we come back, and by the way, thank you, Life Matrix, for the thumb. If you guys didn't already notice the thumbnail, we have 2 of the cartoon platypuses there. We've got Lord, oh crap, what's his name?
Lord Jamar.
Jumar. Yeah, Lord Jamar.
It was Lord Stephen Christ.
The rapper slash actor slash everything. He's on there. The moonlight as a light source on there. Very good. And then, of course, Peanut walking in the corner. We're still working on...
He's running because he's doing better. He's running, not just walking.
Yeah, Peanut, you know what? Find me a GIF with the Peanut guy holding a cigarette. Think you can do that? I think that'd be awesome.
That would have to be created, actually. I don't think that actually exists anywhere.
When we come back, you know what? It's the internet. I bet you it's out there.
I will be saying hello to the chat when we come back, too.
Okay, we're going to go break. When we come back, we got headlines and all sorts of other stuff. So, oh, hey, what happens when I hit this?
Introducing the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock App Meetup Maker. Never miss another meetup again. You can look up meetups in several different ways. Sort by date. You can search by location or within a 500-mile radius. To create and list your own meetup, enter the date. Give the meetup a name, a location name. Add a photo. Enter your contact information. Create a group chat name and then fill out the description with all of the details. Select your background color and hit the Save button to add your meetup to the list. Once the meetup is saved, it will ask you to create a group chat for all of the meetups so people can join the group and start a local chat community. Select Public Group. Add your welcome message, and your meetup is now available for all to see. To make sure you don't miss another meetup in your area, you can select your desired radius and whether you want push notifications or email or both. Whenever a new meetup is added in your selected radius, you get notified. The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock Meetup Maker, bringing people together all around the plane.
Join me, Karen B, every moon day at 9:30 a.m. for Coffee Talk on YouTube, Rumble, and Rockfin. You never know what you'll learn about in the coffee shop. Open topic and open phones, y'all. You can also go to flatearthfestivals.com for updates on the latest news for Flattoberfest 2024, and also for meetups, local meetups. If you want to have your meetup listed on flatearthfestivals.com for free, please email flatearthfestivals@protonmail.com.
Welcome back to Strange World, part 2 of 2. It is you, me, the always perfect Patricia Steere, the always delightful DJ Curious, and you know what? That was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album
Night and Day.
I see what you did there. That's good. That's good. Good read.
That was just for you.
Thank you.
Night and Day.
That was perfect. That was awesome.
I accidentally timed out Spicy Share or deleted Spicy Sarah's comment in the chat. I just want to apologize. It was an accident. Hello to Krista O and Johnny Garcia and Engel of Elevation, Gregory May. Hey to you. XOXO Nico, Justin Bernard, Karen V is here. Let's see who else we got. Just a few more people because I can't say hi to everyone. ADR is here. Bali Music, Journey, and Lowry is here. And Dionysus is here. Whale Oil Beef Hooked is here. I said that in just the right way to not actually say what that name means. And hello to everybody. Now, there was a comment from Plain and Simple, and they were talking about Jaren. Let me find that comment. I took a screenshot of it. Okay. Who said that, sorry, guys, Jaren has said more than, quote, just a few times, unquote, that he's said over and over again. If he sees the sun circle, it will make the ground and water curve. That's the truth. Now, I beg to differ. I never heard Jaren say, if he sees the 24-hour midnight sun, it will make the ground and water curve. Did he say that? Did anyone hear him say that ever?
I have never heard it, but...
Okay, well,
yeah, I have never heard
that doesn't even make sense that he'd say that.
But you got to remember that one of the biggest strengths of Flat Earth is that we have such a huge array of points. You know, we've compiled over the last 10 years. It's like this giant shotgun pattern, right? That comes at you. You can't even begin to knock them all down. So again, there is no silver bullet. The reason why Flat Earth keeps going and keeps grabbing more people, and we'll talk about more celebs today, is because you don't have anything to stop it. There is no magic bullet. Again, I appreciate that you're calling it the final experiment, but the only thing final about it is you're finally doing an experiment. We've been doing the experiments for years and years. You finally got around to one. Oh, it's an expensive one, and it's high profile, but I think it's a huge waste of money in terms of what you could be doing instead. But it's like, this is the only one, but everything else, it wouldn't have worked anyway. So, I mean, I wouldn't have done Antarctica. I would have done, you want to do something more interesting? Go to the Salar del Uyuni down in Bolivia. You know, go to the equator. do the star trails for, on both spinning clockwise and counterclockwise. There's all sorts of fun things you could do to throw doubt out there. This is not going to be, I guarantee you're not going to do it twice. This is going to be, think about the money you're spending. What is it, 30 grand a ticket? 30 grand a ticket for each of you? Oh yeah. There's a reason, by the way. Didn't even question why it's the most expensive place to go in the world. Didn't question that of why it's so prohibitively expensive to go and why they've set it up, why it's so miserable and so time consuming and there's nothing to do when you get there. Didn't wonder why all those things have been put in place. You didn't.
Right. Boring. I hope that, Will, you go, and I hope it's all real, and I hope you see penguins. And you know what else I hope that you take a drone and you film the ice wall or not, and prove that as well while you're down there. And what else can you kind of verify for us when you're down there?
You can't, unfortunately, because right after we started in 2016, drones were banned in Antarctica. Funny enough.
Wonder why.
Go figure. I remember when that came out, it's like, really? And then they bumped up the parallel. The latitude which you couldn't do independent exploration, they took it all the way back to the 60th, if not mistaken, Peanut? The 60th parallel, to where now you can't even go within, on a boat on your own, to even within viewing distance of the shoreline. Not even close. It's that far away. Anyway.
Well, all I know is that my globe friends are also talking about Antarctica lately. In fact, one of them brought it up, was like, there's so many weird things about Antarctica, but a lot of them think that it's because they're hiding alien technology beyond, and that's where that whole Transformers, the first one, plot kind of started, was like, oh, we found this ancient technology, there's pyramids that are melting or the ice is melting away and revealing pyramids, and that's why we can't go there. But in reality, I think it's because the flat earth is real. There is no silver bullet for flat earth. Sorry to all my globe friends.
Right.
I really wish there was. I could come back and join you, but if we see two suns, don't freak out. It just means this wondrous terrarium is very complex and we're figuring it out.
Right. Thank you, DJ. And and by the way, I never mind the stuff when people say, oh, there's an alien base that's in Antarctica or an alien base on the moon. That's why the astronauts didn't go back. It's like, that's just a gateway leading to us eventually. It's like, fine, you want to think there's aliens down there? If that keeps you focused on Antarctica, great, because it's only a matter of time. You can only stare at Antarctica so long before the flat earth stories start popping up, because we have saturated Antarctica, the topic of Antarctica. Just saturated.
But I like the Antarctica story because for a lot of our flat earth friends out there that think there could be more land beyond the ice wall, I think it's an important thing that we do want to be able to go to, discover and investigate for ourselves. Because what if? That would be amazing if, hey, there's a second sun, but guess what? That second sun is lighting up the whole other set of continents that we can't get to. How epic would that be?
Yep.
So Will Duffy, keep that in mind. If we say Will Duffy, he'll just show up. I mean, that guy is everywhere.
Yeah, again, we will see. We'll see if his gamble pays off. Again, if he gets news coverage for this, here's the best part, here's one of our secret weapons. DJ already knows this. Will, if you get traction for this, great, because that means there's going to be tons more stories running with flat earth and bumping up our metrics. That's all it's ended up doing. No different, because you're not the first guy to do this. Then the first journalist that thought they'd take the Flat Earth Cruise, which was supposed to be our conference back in 2017, 18, 19, 2020, well, initially was, because 2019 was Dallas. 2020 was supposed to be a Flat Earth Cruise, right? And that got all sorts of traction for a while, even though it was an absolutely fake story. We weren't going to do it, but it generated huge amounts of metrics. So if all of a sudden, it's like, oh, look, flat earthers, do something controversial, flat earth will be in the news. So you have to wonder, will the news actually cover it? Because they know full well what that means. Will mainstream media jump on this and give us more, fuel to the fire?
Will, we want that to happen. Keep going, little buddy. We're going to hire you to do our marketing once this is over.
It's true. There's only I've said so many times. We'll talk about one of our new trolls that came on the scene here this week with so let's get into headlines real quick. So the space stories, there's a few. I wanted to cover just the highlights. This one,
hey, it's a fried egg.
Right.
And a sausage.
So if you guys didn't know, if you're under a certain age, you might not even know, Jupiter supposedly has a giant storm that has been on there forever and ever. Same size, goes a band that runs to the center for whatever reason. And this time, for whatever reason, unexpectedly, it's moving around. They don't know why. And it's because they want to generate a space story. So they want to focus things. It's like, okay, they just generate this series of images. This is not something which can be captured with a normal telescope.
Do they say this image is real?
Yes, but remember, it's only captured by NASA, military, Hubble Space Telescope, and they were the one that captured these images. The general
That doesn't look any. It looks sort of like I guess I think would it be impressionist?
Exactly.
It looks like a painting by Vincent van Gogh, kind of.
There you go.
That's moving.
New observations of Jupiter's Great Red Spot captured by Hubble show the 190-year-old storm. 190 years storm has been there. Wiggles like gelatin and shapeshifts like a squeezed stress ball. And these, by the way, these pictures were taken from December to March. It's not like they were taken quite recently. It's December.
That also looks like an eye in some weird way too.
Yeah.
I have a question for Mark.
Yeah.
Is gas even possible to be photographed on Earth? Like, how do we photograph gaseous substances anyway?
Maybe with some kind of filter?
If you believe, you mean like Jupiter?
Well, they tell us Jupiter's a gas giant, right?
Yeah, right. Which means,
how are we taking pictures of gas? Am I an idiot? I mean,
no,
I'm sorry, flat earther, I must be dumb.
Supposedly, imagine, oh God, because again, you have to rely on the gravity and the physics of gravity, which we don't. Which is there's so many clouds that are, so it's like it'd be if our cloud cover, right, on Earth was thousands of miles thick and it was still being held down by gravity, from the outside we'd look just like a cloud planet. No different. So at the center of Jupiter there is some sort of hard surface, although I never hear anybody talk about it ever.
But I don't think that's true. Remember, they said that asteroid belt went through Jupiter and it just passed right through.
Well, oh, you mean the one back in the 90s? That one?
Back in the 90s, there was like, oh, we got all these pictures of these asteroids pummeling Jupiter, and look at this light show.
Look, I don't want to dig into it.
That's what's weird to me. I don't think we can take pictures of gas out in outer space. These images.
There shouldn't be. You're absolutely right, DJ. We shouldn't even look. There shouldn't even be gas next to non-pressure. No, they burnt up.
You can smell it, so maybe NASA has like smell-o-vision.
Yeah,
they can photograph it.
We shouldn't even have gas
in 2024.
We shouldn't have any gas next to a vacuum at all. Again, the David Weiss comparison, which I love that he finally came up with, it's like you never go down to the hardware store and pick up some propane without the container. You always have a metal container to take it home with. And that would be the same thing here. It's like, I don't care what kind of gas it is. Whatever gas you're looking at here is more dense than the vacuum around it. You're right, PJ. There shouldn't even be gas there. Forget about.
Why does nobody talk about this? I mean, that's been on my mind forever. Ever since I learned about space and the gas giant.
The movie term is we accept it. Suspension of disbelief, which is
we accept the world we're presented with.
No different than the soft suits.
Except us.
The Americans on the moon. We believe everything that we saw because, well, the Americans are credible. The American media is even more credible. Therefore, whatever they got in there must be true. Who am I to say otherwise? Therefore, it is true. And then we reinforce it with space.
Right. Trump getting shot in the ear. Yeah, that's credible too.
Well, it's just my globe friends are desperate for me to come back, and I'm just going further and further deeper into the flat zone. And I'm just trying to help them if they are watching this. Guys, let's talk about it because none of this is making sense.
While we're at it, here's one.
What the heck is that bowling ball picture?
Yeah, half of it's Mars and half of it is.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, is that a new planet they said they discovered?
Half of it is Earth.
Hey, it's the divided planet. That's going to be the left wing and the right wing.
Yeah, well, we can't wait to see how that works out. And by the way, please, nobody forget that the Kirsten Dunst movie, Civil War, came out at the beginning of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to talk about the predictive programming there, even though I heard it was terrible. I haven't watched it yet. Peanuts watched it.
I haven't watched it. Heard it was horrible, but female black president.
Peanut wasn't impressed. So it seemed very ambiguous. However, remember, again, Elon, God, no matter what happens, by the way, he just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it doesn't matter how many times he fails. But we will address that. So
there's Ozempic for that, so we might want to recommend.
Nice. I see what you did there. That's good. So Elon said that, I'm going to start up my Mars program here in a couple years, of course, because no one's going to remember what happens 3 months from now. And he said, and remember, I have said there's no way you can ever do Mars. Peanut actually found a Peanut running with a cigarette in his mouth. I don't think that's a gift, though. Find out if it is. So NASA comes out just recently and said NASA bids farewell to Mars. This is from eldiano24.com. Farewell to Mars admits its biggest failure, not possible using present-day technology. No, I have said this forever. You can't, even if Mars was real, you have no way of reaching it because you can't.
But they have a rover there, they say.
Well,
for 20 years.
A rover for 20 years. It doesn't run out of battery life, even though that defies every physics model when it comes to batteries. Remember, car batteries die after 6 years. There's nothing special about these batteries whatsoever. But Elon says, remember, here's contradicting things. Elon says, I'm going to start my Mars program and have people on the moon in less than 5 years. NASA comes out and says, we can't do it. So who's right and who's wrong?
I love that drawing of the Earth. The Earth and the Mars drawing is perfect because what it's really saying is Mars is Earth.
Yeah.
All those pictures of Mars
are
taken on
Earth.
Earth.
On the Earth then. Why don't we improve the Earth, take care of the Earth, stop worrying about. But honestly, the Globe former self was obsessed with space and wanted to be the first person on Mars, and the fact that this would be pissing me off. If I didn't have flat Earth in my life, I would be so upset right now. I'd be like, what do you mean we don't have the technology? This is all we've been waiting for 40 years is get us to Mars, get a human to Mars. It's like, Thank God I have flat Earth to open my eyes that this never gonna happen, guys. No. Mark my words.
Never, ever. And by the way, I love the fact that this image, even this image, is manufactured from minute one, which is the blue part over here is absolutely, it is not a shot of Earth in the slightest. Again, look at the, what was his name? Simmons. Brian Simmons? What's his name? No,
the guy who said it's
Scott Simmons. I think
it's Photoshop because it has to be.
Photoshop because it has to be. Peanut looked it up. Right. I can't remember the last name is Simmons, but he was a NASA engineer that had to build the first shot of Earth for the first iPhone background from scratch because there was no other image he could get except for the Apollo 17 image. That's it. There was no other image. He had to manufacture from scratch, and then he got skimped at the end. Again, had to rush apparently Friday at deadline. Had to get to happy hour, so he used the cloning tool and put all these clone clouds in the southern hemisphere. Nobody noticed it for years until we came along. Whatever. All right, next one down.
Which is a trip that they get away with such horrible CGI and such horrible graphics.
Robert Simmons, a.k.a. Mr. Blue Marble. Look it up if you guys want to check it out. Robert Simmons, where he breaks it down exactly how he built it in Photoshop. Everything from the glare to why the water is blue.
And your average person would never think any of that was true.
Nope.
They would think that's a real photo from like a satellite.
No, thank God he did an audio interview. Thank God.
Yeah.
That he actually did, or who knows? Maybe they
just like that other guy, NASA guy, who said that they're trying to rebuild the technology and it's hard. We're unable to get through the Van Allen radiation belts.
Don Pettit,
and Don Pettit, he did us a solid on flat Earth, kind of, by saying something true for once.
Yes, wait, shout out to Rico who showed me his Don Pettit tattoo. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
Ooh.
I'd go back to the moon in a nanosecond, but we lost the technology, and it's a terrible process to build back again. It's like, poor guy. I really I hope they're not taking advantage of him too bad. It's just awful.
I thought that Marty, what was Marty McFly's father's name?
Oh, wow. I have no idea.
Peanut, what was Marty McFly's father's name?
Poor Peanut.
Who, I thought that George McFly. God, wow, how did I forget that? George McFly. I thought he was just a character, and years later, it ended up being Don Pettit. Because they were absolutely the same guy, same freaking guy. Okay, so
something off.
Actor.
So
there you go.
So celeb of the week, Flat Earth celeb of the week, goes out to rapper / actor / producer Lord Jamar. So Lord Jamar made some waves this year. And what he did just recently, this one's from 9 days ago, he went on Godfrey Comedy. Godfrey, talented comedian, and he went on his show, and they had some drinks and some smokes, and they were talking about stuff. And I can't remember what minute point he got into this because you won't have to wait long because it is a long segment. Lord Jamar gets into flat Earth. And Godfrey asks him, it's like, oh, yeah, really, you into flat Earth? And he just goes off on a freaking jag. I mean, for 30, 40 minutes? So
good.
Just tearing into it. I mean, preaching. going into all the bullet points. You quoting David Weiss without saying David Weiss, quoting me without using me. I got a wonderful little feel good when he mentioned, it's like, you want to prove it to me? Send a rocket into orbit, right? And then, point back at the Earth so you can see the whole globe. It's like, sweet, that one's mine.
Yeah.
And he was wonderful, and he did not back down. He did not waver in the slightest. Were all his points perfect? No, they weren't. My only regret is that this was the interview that rapper B.O.B. should have done back in 2016. And rapper B.O.B. is not good at interviews. Lord Jamar, excellent at interviews. I mean, considering he was half in the freaking bag when he did this one, he was awesome. He was absolutely awesome, and we are lucky to have him. And so I added his clip to my mainstream media section, and I will add this one as well, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, you know what? I'll save it right now. Nope, I can't.
And look, 119,000 views just 9 days ago. That's awesome.
Yeah. And again, people say, oh, you don't give me hits on this and that. It's like, no, what I really care about more than anything is resonating the people that resonate with other people. So Lord Jamar generated more metrics for Flat Earth in a week just from this rant than most of the community's done in a month. Just from doing his thing. Yeah. And it's wonderful. He doesn't have his own podcast as far as I can tell. He just shows up on other people's podcasts. I'd love to have him on. I'd love for somebody else to talk to him. I told David right away, it's like, you got to talk to this guy. He's awesome. And he had already been clipping some of his stuff. He had already put some of his audio on his channel, but good stuff. So
it's another rubber band on the Flat Earth watermelon that's about to explode. So
right. And Lord Jamar. Oh yeah, and then in fact we got a new troll because of this. In fact, let me type it in really fast. 1 second. If I type in, watch this. So if I type in Flat Earth. So see this one right here, debunking conspiracy theories, Lord Jamar the Flat Earther, right? So the thumbnail says no such thing as gravity, which is, a lot of us don't believe in gravity. Gravity is a theory. And so the new troll of the week is the Birdman with a 3 instead of a, and I won't play it. I'll just put it up on screen really fast, which is, he's got, 250,000 subs, which is quite a bit. And he went after, just tore into him. He was commenting. You could tell he was absolutely a globe troll, and I've never seen him before. And he's spending time going after Lord Jamar because, again, guys like this are a threat to the globe community. Guys like this resonate with different demographics, and it's like they don't want it. It's like, shoot these guys down as fast as you can. So this guy, the Birdman, came out of nowhere. Don't know who he is. And he also said, and I actually put a comment in there. I said, long live Flat Earth, blah, 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 my standard stuff. And he said, oh, look, it's Mark Sargent, one of the 4 flirfs of the apocalypse, right? And
hey, you made it to the top 4.
I know, thank you. And so I said, he goes, I'm going to be making a video about you soon. And I said,
I'm scared.
I go, bring it, Round Earther. And I'm pretty sure he deleted that line, which of course, like, why'd you say Round Earther? I'm going to take Patricia's lead on this one because Deadpool said it. Deadpool used the term Round Earther in the recent movie, which is making, now that it's on streaming, is breaking even more money records. So, look, Deadpool alone generated metrics. So there you go. So thank you.
Awesome.
So we have a new troll.
I highly recommend watching that interview. It's so good.
Yeah, not this one. Don't watch this one where this guy tears into him. Watch the original one.
Yeah, watch
the original one, which is right back here, the Lord Jamar on Godfrey Comedy. Watch that one. It's worth it. Actually, the hour and 38 minute, the full interview is actually very good. So check it out. But when he gets into Flat Earth, it's absolutely wonderful.
If you can't find it in my channel on the community page, just scroll down. I did link it.
There you go. And Peanut says, I recommend watching Deadpool. Yes, Peanut is a big Deadpool fan. If you're a fan of Deadpool, I hope they end with this one. I know they probably won't, but you never know. Okay, this gets tied into, how much time we got? We're good. This gets tied into what I was saying about the election, which is, so this is from Zero Hedge, which is election interference. Democrats won't certify election if Trump wins. The rhetoric is already starting, which is both sides are going to accuse each side of cheating in advance. And therefore, if we lose, the other side cheated. And they both have now examples. The blue team says, well, you did it with Hillary. Red team's going to say you did it with Biden. And this one's up for freaking grabs.
Well, let's just talk about this guy's hair color.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's great.
However,
look at that title: "Election Interference. Dems won't certify election if Trump wins." I mean, that's just they're saying that it's going to be fake.
Yeah.
Before it even happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, that's why.
What about free and fair elections?
Somebody asked me in a recent interview. They said, "What are the chances that Kamala wins in a fair election?" I go, "What do you mean fair election?" I go,
"There's no such thing as a fair election, no matter who wins.
Both sides are going to cheat." And I know that people will say, "Well, Republicans won't cheat." Are you kidding? This is one of those elections. Like, if you asked a Republican now, I said, "Hey, if you could get away with cheating, would you do it on this election?" They would all say yes.
It's like 50% of most marriages.
There you go. There you go. Don't get me started on why marriages fall apart and the cheating that goes there. Again, men cheat because they can. Women cheat because they think they've earned it. So different, so weird. And I was on the receiving end of that so many times. No, seriously, women save up their suffering like hotel points. They do. And they reach a certain level, and then all of a sudden they make calls they used to make calls to people like me. And they'd be like, "So, what are you doing?" Like, what? What are you talking about? It's like 2 a.m. Anyway.
Wow.
So election yeah, I know I was that guy.
We know so much about you, Mark, that perhaps we shouldn't know.
I was that guy, and okay, so let's get into this one.
Oh, this.
Okay, so so Kamala Harris stars.
She does look really good there, but that's
it's a good shot. It's
Photoshop.
Stars in her second Vogue cover, and the two couldn't be more different. So. Okay, you don't see it here initially, the candidate for our times, right? You don't see it in this shot. When you get down to this one.
Interesting all brown colors.
You do. This is dark brown with even a brown satin on the inside.
Not dark MAGA, dark.
A gold.
Kamala.
It's a very subtle American flag pin. The photoshopping is perfect, but of course, the farther you get away from the shot, you notice that the O is turned into horns. And I sent it to David Weiss immediately, and he's going, "Oh, I'm going to make something." So he made a big thing with music and flames. And I noticed that, look, I watched, because I was just stunned by it, the fact that Lucifer, you got to remember, Lucifer got his own show on Fox for, 5-6 seasons? Again, the fact that you couldn't do this 20 years ago. It's like, hey, I got an idea for the show. The devil comes to Los Angeles and helps the police fight crime. That's the show? That's the show. What? And they ran this for like 6 years. So anyway, Kamala. And so what I mean is, here, let me punch this in for you really fast. Ready? Watch this. So if I go in and I type in, I'll do this really fast. I'll type in Lucifer season 3. All right. I'll click on images. Yeah, right here. There you go. See it?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lucifer season 3. That shot right there, him in the dark suit. And by the way, Tom Ellis is absolutely outstanding as Lucifer. He should.
And good looking.
Yeah, good looking British guy.
Because the devil would be, right?
Yeah, you bet he is. And he should have been Doctor Who, but he ended up playing.
He's hot as hell, as it says there. So.
And so what's the difference, seriously, between this shot? Oops, crap. Well, now that other one's gone. Damn it! I don't know what.
Do you have that link that I sent you with all the other Times magazines that put devil horns on people?
Yes, I do, and I just deleted it. But hang on, I'll grab it again.
They have done the devil horns subtly behind many people, including the Pope several times, Trump, Hillary Clinton, several actors and actresses that were at the time topical. There we go. Putin.
Yeah, let me see if I can find all the covers. Time magazine. Yeah, all the covers that have, you guys see this, right? So now it's way easier to do with Time magazine because the M has a built-in set of horns, right? Absolutely built in. So like you have Donald Trump, you got Jeff Sessions, you got Steve Bannon, Clinton, there's Hillary. I mean, and the Pope is a little more subtle. Again, less subtle.
Right there.
Yeah, that's less subtle. But again,
that's scary. Oh my God,
that is scary.
Easier to do with Time magazine because the M is easy to do. Bill Clinton silhouette, Time magazine Man of the Year. I mean,
wow.
Yeah, not an accident. Bill Clinton had it multiple times. John Travolta.
And his wig.
And his wig.
Yeah.
Hillary, the Queen. and so on and so on. But
No, that's
way,
Thatcher, right?
way tougher to do with an O because they're curved horns and you've got that thing at the top. However, because of the font, the O is very, 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 very thin up there. So from a distance, the smaller this picture gets, the more obvious it becomes. So there you go. So my point is...
And they've done it to Trump as well, so it's, you know.
This could have been a promo shot. She could have been a side character in the series Lucifer with this shot. Easily. The dark colors, I know it's complimenting her skin and all that stuff. Anyway, there you go. So Kamala Harris.
The candidate for our time.
Yeah. There you go.
You know what? It's all fake. I don't vote. I don't like elections. It's not that I want Trump to win,
right?
But I don't want her to win. I just feel some real bad vibes.
Well,
yeah, and that's the problem. Either way, whatever happens, it's just demoralizing.
And Trump's a liar, period. I mean, he lied about that shooting thing and just disgusting. They're all so disgusting. If politics were real, we'd have actual good people.
Go ahead, DJ.
Well, people are getting disenchanted with the political system. That's the problem. It's demoralizing. So either way, people who lose, they're just going to have less faith in the system, which is not good. That's the problem. If they're
Is it not good? Maybe it is good.
Not according to Bible prophecy, so we'll see.
Oh, that's true.
Because the more that people want something new, the more it sets the stage for something worse that looks shiny and bright and amazing to step in when everyone's begging for a change. So I just think people need to keep an eye out for that, whether it's AI, aliens, or some sort of figurehead that's really polarizing and dynamic that people fall for. I mean, that's straight out of prophecy. So
right.
So TMZ, the greatest journalists in the world. Everybody should subscribe and check them every day. I check them because, I check them because.
Well, you do get good info from them, and they often have it first.
Yeah, they do have it first. They will run stories that the other networks will wait to run. So Elon, because remember, he's trying to get more high profile. So no, it's not just showing up at the Trump rally. It's also showing up at the robotics convention and doing a big splashy thing because, as you know, even though he has autism, he's the smartest man in the world and the richest man in the world, even though no one can explain how he made his money except me. Whatever. So Elon Musk.
And is he really autistic? I mean, that just seems like that just goes with today's.
Well, no. He says he has Asperger's, and you watch enough times of him talking, and Asperger's is on the spectrum. So
I don't believe anything about him is true.
Well, there you go. So he can't.
I don't even almost believe he's real in some weird way. I feel he's like a fully manufactured character.
Well, he is that, and I have said on many occasions, and I remember telling a family member, I go, he's one of the worst written characters I've ever seen in my life. And she said, well, you're not God. And I go, I didn't say that God wrote him. I'm saying somebody wrote this guy. But if God, you know what? I should have come back. My comeback should have been God wouldn't have written him like this. He wouldn't have.
Right.
So.
Or you should have just said, you're right. Given a very evil look.
Nice. And then went out and bought my Vogue cover. So Elon Musk, autonomous future is here, debuts driverless cab, which is this thing that looks like
that looks nice to get into on a Saturday night.
Right. And a robot personal assistant. Right.
Oh, that looks great.
And so the hype that, he gets out of this cab thing I can't remember what studios they were at. Where were they? It was called, the event night was called We Robot. Right. And
instead of iRobot.
Exactly. And the iRobot director and producers, they called him out on it. They're like, dude, you ripped off everything from us. At freaking everything. And they, again, calling it a cyber cab. Cyber is not a term anymore. We haven't used cyber since 1998. And by the way, you haven't had hair since 1999. For love of God.
I think perhaps he doesn't like Elon Musk.
Yeah,
what do you think, guys?
Is hilarious.
Oh, no. Well, no, I just like, it's like how many, look, he's the only technocrat that went that far. Where, Jeff Bezos didn't care. All the other guys didn't care. Elon, oh no, we're doing full-blown hair system. Look, right.
Oh, and by the way, earlier in the chat, almost before we started talking, DJ, somebody was saying, DJ's got the best hair ever. We need you to tell us your hair routine. So maybe next show.
Yeah, next show we'll do a whole tutorial.
I know you almost if you grew it longer, you'd have anime hair, which is ridiculous.
Everyone just has something. I don't know, guys. I just got lucky. It's really simple.
Yeah, you suck. Absolutely suck. So okay, so he debuted the bus thing, which people can just get on and drive around, which isn't going to exist ever. That was only for this party. He introduced steering wheel-less and pedal-less taxis. It's like, why would you take out the steering wheel and the pedals just to prove that it's not, it's not being driven by somebody? Which by the way, he says, oh, I'll sell for $30,000, and but I'm not going to sell them until 2026, which means they're never going to be sold ever. And then the robots. Okay, there were two types of robots. One were the ones that shuffle out on stage like they were 90 years old men, right? They just walked on a smooth surface. They just walked on a stage and stopped, did not do anything. And the others were serving people drinks and crap. Two completely different things. And let's talk about that for a minute. You ready? So immediately after this thing came out, there were articles. So this one from Tech Radar: Tesla's new cybercab and futuristic 20-seat robovan shows it's lost its grip on reality. Yeah, anyone in the tech industry has seen right through this. It's like, first off, you're not going to be able to do cabs for 30 grand. There's already auto driving cabs. And again, autonomous driving does not work. It relies on
And those doors, although they look cool, those would create a lot of problems in urban environments, not really be able to open like that.
Right. And Peanut says you can't do cars for 30K. No, you can't do the cars for 30K. Absolutely not. Dancing humanoid robots, a Hollywood movie set, and plenty of impromptu whooping. It can only mean one thing. Elon Musk finally held the robo-taxi reveal he's been promising for years. Wow. Why'd he do it now? Well, because the election's in 3 weeks. That's why he did it now. It was done at the Warner Brothers facility in California. The cabs had already mapped out the Warner Brothers facility. The cabs only went around the lot. Never went into the streets.
Isn't Warner Brothers a movie studio?
Hey, thank you, Patricia.
Hey, there we go.
Absolutely.
We're talking about fakery. We're talking about acting.
Absolutely.
We're talking about non-reality.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Go ahead, DJ.
And more predictive programming. If it lines up with iRobot, then the people that watched iRobot wishing that it was reality, all of a sudden it is reality. Now you can get excited. You get more excited about Tesla. You start to invest, and Tesla's stocks go up. And then these things never really happen. And the Cybertruck, when it first got announced, I think they were trying to say it was going to be 30 grand. Because I remember thinking that, like, oh wow, that'd be a great price for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And those things are super expensive, right? It's like it's all BS.
Yeah. And by the way,
yes.
The DailyMail.com, Britain went in on, everyone was starting to pile in on him, which was, watch the creepy exchange where Tesla's Optimus robot reveals the hardest part about being a machine. It's like, oh, wow, they asked this robot a question. By the way, all the robots that were walking around in the crowd were being remote controlled with a game controller by people that were right next to it. Probably like this guy right here. They were, every other robot, they were not autonomous. They were basically freaking radio controlled cars. That's all they were doing. And they asked him a question, and what was the answer he gave him? He goes, it's like the eerie response stunned commentators on social media, because he goes, I'm trying to learn how to be as human as you guys are, and that is something I try harder every day and hope that it will help us become better. It's like, you didn't come up with that on your own. This was absolutely programmed. There was somebody with a microphone telling you to say that, or the guy that's talking right here just asked him this and it was pre-recorded and he played it for him. It was all smoke and mirrors, every last aspect of it. And again, I love the fact that the iRobot director is like calling out. It's like, look, you guys ripped this off completely from us.
But is he going to do anything about it?
No, he can't, because it's the director. The studio's not going to sue him. In fact, who knows? Look up Peanut. Look up who's the studio on iRobot. Let's see if it was Warner Brothers.
That's fishy in itself.
I like how somebody says cool technology, but just because we can doesn't mean we should. A bystander was saying in that article.
Yeah. And people people keep saying, oh, this is how the movie starts. Learning to be as human as you are is crazy. Blah blah blah. Let's look. Self-aware machines are not a thing. They're never going to be a thing. I come from the programming world. We don't know how to build them. We don't know how the flowchart even starts. It's like asking a person to define their soul and then write it out in machine code. It doesn't exist. Anyway.
But how far can it go, in your opinion? They can mimic really well. So
that's all they can do is mimic, which is why.
Isn't that what they say the devil does?
Basically.
The creator of the grandfather of computers, Alan Turing, go way back in 1950. The closest he came was what he called the imitation game, which was all you can do. The best you can even hope for is to write out as many responses to as many questions as you can, and hope to God that you don't ask something that's not programmed into you, right? And which is why I came up with my own version of the Turing test. I can break a machine in 5 questions. I'm not going to give them to you now. I can do it in 5 questions. You don't need 200 questions or 100 questions. I can do it in 5. And it's like, oh no, self-aware machines, it's going to turn to Skynet. It's like, no, it's not. And
well, then how bad can they get though, in your opinion?
They can't. They're not going to happen. Well, 2 reasons, DJ. First, forget about the self-aware crap that people talk about. Again, we can't even define it in movies. The only way the machine becomes self-aware in movies is either radioactive goo falls in the circuit board, lightning strikes the circuit board, or a ghost or alien inhabits the circuit board. We can't even come up with a fictional way of making a computer alive, which again goes all the way back to Frankenstein. It's like, how did Frankenstein become alive? We don't know. It just happened.
Yeah. Okay. But what will they be? Do you think that robots are going to get to a point where they can be dangerous just because they're programmed to kill?
No. There's 2 problems there. The second problem, how much time we got? I got time. The second problem is this. This is a bigger problem, which was talked about in Terminator on multiple levels, which is the power plant, which is batteries. The only way we can power a robot is with batteries. And batteries, as you know, are made of metal. And they're really, really heavy. So when Elon says, oh, look, and he introduced these guys like, look, a robot that can babysit your kids. I go, that's a great idea, clown. So let's see. This robot's going to be walking across the living room. He's going to trip on a cord, and all 300 pounds of him is going to land on your 4-year-old. How's that end up? I go, that lawsuit is tailor-made to end the line. There you go, DJ. It's over. It's freaking over. There is no power plant that you can devise that is light enough to put in a robot that can't be weaponized, which is why in Terminator they screwed the whole franchise up. They said, oh, no, put an atomic reactor in their chest. I go, oh, really?
That sounds very nice and gentle.
Yeah, that can't be used for nefarious purposes ever. So the best...
Remember in the Jetsons, the maid was a robot, but she was like, well, she was a maid of metal, but she was like... plump and friendly looking,
Yeah.
These things look kind of dangerous and creepy.
Yeah, and that was the Jetsons. Why was Rosie the robot a middle-aged, overweight woman? Why?
Because that's who you'd want watching your kids.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
like a
why,
nanny.
Why wasn't she some hot number with, wearing a small skirt, like a French maid outfit? Why not?
Well, of course, we're talking about your fantasies.
No,
here
I'm
now.
not.
That's not what the show is
I'm
about.
not saying that. I'm just saying it seems a little, it's like you made her a little too big. You just make her plain. You don't have to make her
right.
Whatever. So, plus they gave her an accent. They gave her like an East Coast accent. Hey,
yeah, what about the movie? Did you ever see Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams?
Yes, I did.
And that was an interesting movie where the robot starts out, fully robotic and then ends up dying a human. But, obviously that's never going to happen.
Yeah, little takeoff on Pinocchio there. Or you don't want to go even further, go to AI, when AI used to mean what it really should have meant, with Haley Joel Osment, the Steven Spielberg movie with Jude Law and, who was the blue fairy? Crap,
that was a really boring movie though, right? Like,
it wasn't great. But the point was, what they did was, when they made an robotic child that seemed very, very human, people were way more sympathetic to it. It's like, oh, a kid, isn't that so cute? And it was way more accepting. So anyway, no, robots that can babysit your kids, no, never going to happen. You can't solve the AI problem. I'm sorry, the self-aware problem, and you definitely can't solve the power problem. You're just going to crush children. That's all you're going to end up doing. You know it. I know it. The closer you can get is that vacuum cleaner over there. Well, hell, I'm sure there's been even a lot of, if that vacuum cleaner hit a 3-year-old hard enough, it's knocking them over. And that thing's only, 7-8 inches high? Yeah, really? You're going to have a robot make drinks for you? Really? So anyway, this robot that's picking out drinks, they're not making drinks, they're just picking up bottles for people, right? That robot is being run, with the cowboy hat, is being run by a guy with a controller behind. He is not autonomous. And that's what they said, that the Optimus robots at Tesla's Cybercab event were humans in disguise. That's all they were. They were just humans running behind the scenes they were running these things. In fact, this little video right here, where he's holding his hands up, he's being controlled.
I'm surprised they're not doing devil horns, to be honest.
Yeah, that's all he's doing. He's standing. He's not going to be shaking hands with a lot of people on a regular basis. He's being controlled by one of the guys in the black shirts. He's being surrounded by people in the black shirts, so nobody gets to him. This is smoke and freaking mirrors, and a complete rip of a 5 robot. Oh, 20th Century Studios did the movie. So, yeah, 20th Century could probably have a little lawsuit on their hands, but they're going to wait until this thing goes into production, which is never going to happen. Okay.
Well, we shall
weird.
see, right? I mean, it is interesting to see how far will they come and what's next. I mean, it is interesting that he wants to be the front runner with this robotic animatronic thing anyway. I mean, it's just to make Tesla look cool. That's all I think it is.
And see the curtain there? There's a guy running this guy from behind the curtain. In fact, this guy, oh yeah, he's a robot, thank God. I was about to say that they wouldn't try to actually put somebody with gloves on, because I see the gaps there. It couldn't be actually a guy without it. But anyway, it's absolutely ridiculous. Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking, is it a real person? But the way they have the wrist bones, or wrist is, you can see the metal on the wrist, so it's not a real guy in a suit.
Right. So Patricia wanted to remind me, let's stay with technology.
I like her dress, I do have to say. Anyway.
Scarlett Johansson, she's got the it factor. Again, that's why you do screen tests, to find out if you look good on camera. Scarlett looks good on camera. She acts well.
Oh, yeah.
She does really well. Scarlett Johansson, she was shocked and angered over a new ChatGPT voice. Why? Some actors haven't figured out. Lawyers for Scarlett Johansson are demanding that OpenAI disclose how it developed an AI personal assistant voice that the actress says sounds uncannily similar to her own. Yes, that's because she's acted in a lot of things. All you need is a voice sample from anybody. It doesn't even have to be that long. And she's got a slew of movies out there. And you just run it through the processor. You can imitate it. You can use it for books on tape. And that is, anyone that's doing voiceovers for books, they're out of work, period. They're done. Because now you can... Go ahead, DJ.
I mean, that's because she did the movie Her, and they're trying to bring her to life in this modern day
Mm-hmm.
setting.
Right.
That's why they picked her especially. Yes, makes sense.
Somewhat ironic that the first movie, the AI movie that really came out, talking about the AI chat stuff, was Her with Joaquin Phoenix. What year was Joaquin Phoenix, Peanut? I'm so glad Peanut's back.
What year it was Her?
They couldn't come up with an AI voice. Siri wasn't nearly good enough back then, so they had Scarlett Johansson do the voice. She was just a voice actress for this. And here we are years later. Was it 10 years later, 12 years later? And now we have voice ChatGPT, where the voice is actually good enough to pass for the real thing. And now they can't do overly dramatic stuff. They can't do a lot of highs and lows, but general dialogue, oh yeah, you bet. You bet they can. So there you go. 2013 film. Wow, it was already actually right underneath there. I already got it, Peanut. So 2013. So yeah, 11 years later, they actually did it. So OpenAI held a live demonstration last week. Many observers compared it to her voice in the movie. And you combine that. So, sorry, go ahead.
She's suing?
No, she's not going to sue. She's got nothing to sue.
Okay.
She's got nothing to sue for, because that's part of the IP agreement you sign, which is when you sign over your likeness, it's not just people that can paint you or T-shirts or posters. It's also things now that are brand new. And again, you didn't have to do anything for it. You could just sleep in. The work's already been done for you, and unless you signed residuals ahead of time, it's just tough luck. It's like the people that did voiceover work for cartoons, like the Flintstones, that went on for syndicated for years and years and years. They didn't make a freaking dime. So
right, and they might be dead, but Flintstones is still on with their voice.
Right, there you go. Or the thing we were talking about last week with like James Dean doing books, or if you wanted to have Vincent Price read a Halloween novel to you, or read Edgar Allan Poe stuff. Okay, so this goes into the ridiculous. We're already in clown world territory. We got.
I actually really just like things before robots and stuff, before any sort of AI stuff, before where like real people could do voiceover jobs and read books, and you'd be hearing one of your favorite books read by one of your favorite voiceover actors. Yep. What about that? What about things being real? Wow.
No, exactly. And we're
goodbye to that.
Yeah, we're witnessing the demise of the human purpose. I mean, as AI takes over creativity, we're just feeling our purpose being drained. And so that's
music will be AI, art, all sorts of writing novels, poetry.
Yeah, our ability to, express our uniqueness is waning. And so, what's going to be left of the human spirit? Not much, with this AI taking over all the fun stuff that we're really good at, and it's doing it instantly and better. That's why we're on the tinfoil sombrero, we were watching those AI Panavision movies that you had played, Mark, because it's so fascinating. Like, how fast can that AI create that shit? And it looks so good and it's captivating. We're like, well, there goes all these jobs and all that creative energy just out the window.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
Yeah, it homogenizes thing, and what you said, DJ. The creative spirit, the raw creative spirit, goes away. Kind of like
working in a factory, that kind of thing. That's good for AI quote unquote robot, something like that. Good.
But again, the fact that like, not to beat the band thing from last week, but the fact that a producer can do with just software can produce a solo artist. Why would I hire a band? Why would I try to grab a band out of nowhere? I can get 80% of my money for almost no effort. It's no
need to have models anymore too. Yeah. You don't need in-person shows. Just do video with AI generated more than perfect, images.
Yeah, modeling clothes. The fact that there are AI models, they're not even people at all. It's not people with filters.
Mm-hmm.
AI models that have OnlyFans pages, and they're making a lot of money. And all it is just computers generating images and videos for doing things. Okay, we got a little time left. I want to finish these clown worlds. So. This one's from the BBC. Again, this shows you the clickbait, and I love the BBC picks on America because again,
the depths to which people will sink in America.
Yeah,
BBC's on it.
Yeah, BBC. It's like BBC reminds its people all the time. It's like, yeah, you know what? It was probably good that they broke away from us.
The colonies.
The colonies. Yeah. Well, they call us the states, and
yes.
Because we used to be the colonies, and they laugh at us so much. In this case, okay, I get it. Which is, why wouldn't you? This actually doesn't surprise me in the slightest. It
needs to be laughed at.
Hurricane coming to Tampa, influencers going there ahead of time, ignoring the evacuation orders, going into the path of it, and live streaming, finding a place they have service. Right, that's the first part. Because if you don't have a stream going, you're like, what are you going to do? I'm not streaming. Therefore, you don't exist. And influencers risking death in hurricanes for clicks and cash. Absolutely. And that's the thing I read to you, where in the case, this kid right here, he was just like, hey, if I get 10,000 hits, I'm going to throw my thing into the water and let's go. It's like, and then he realized, like, oh, wait, I can't swim. It's like, what are you thinking? It's a hurricane.
You didn't think this out?
Hurricane usually means water, man. What are you thinking? But he doesn't care. He doesn't know. And let's see. He streamed for an hour, got 60,000 views, and then he got hit for, I should probably watch it, and seen by millions after being clipped up and posted on other social media platforms because he got out of there alive. So
he made it safely, it says.
Yeah. Yeah. Go figure. Okay, 2 more, and then we'll close out. Let's see here. Nope.
Claim your free $10 bonus, Mark.
I don't want my free bonus. Okay. Oh, actually, this is the last one, and then the rest. Okay, so it's from TMZ, and again, this is clown world all over the place. Cookie Monster, me need cookies ASAP. Driver dressed like character seen speeding. This wasn't a social media thing. He was driving in Germany, and it was caught on a traffic cam. I am dying to know what was going on here.
Maybe he was a furry.
Oh, he was obviously into something, but okay, first off, love the fact that he's in Germany. It's an American character, a beloved American Sesame Street. Yeah, Peanut says drugs are bad. Yeah, absolutely. He's driving on the Autobahn. On the Autobahn.
What was in those cookies?
At night. He was, in fact, the picture was taken because he was doing 60 and a 50. And it's like, what? What do you, how? Why? What where are you look? Are the eyes here? Is he looking? I'm sure he's not looking through those. I don't know. But again,
I love it though. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Cookie Monster.
It's good. It's a good story. It's nice to end on something like that as opposed to creepy robots falling down on top of children and killing them. Because that's just not so good.
This is the human stuff I like, which is it's like, you know what, man? Good for you. Whatever you were going for.
That's old-fashioned weird news that you just presented to us.
This wasn't New York or L.A. This was freaking Germany. It's like, what are you doing? Oh, anywho. So, yeah.
Well, thanks to our live chat. So many people are in there, and I don't have time because we don't have time left to say hello to everyone, but you know who you are, and we appreciate you being here. And we will be back next Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yep. And Patricia and I are going to be
doing the secret show tomorrow on my channel at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. I still don't have the time down.
Yep.
And I still have problems with my streaming software, which I attempted earlier in the day to fix.
Hey, you know what? Let's do a shout out for that. If anyone is familiar with Lightstream
streaming software,
email Patricia directly at
Patricia Lynn Steere at gmail.com. Or you can go to the channel Patricia Steere and you'll find my contact information there.
Because she'd like a few tips. Because I use
help.
I use OBS and she keeps making multiple streams. And if you've seen what we've done for the last 2 secret shows, I mean, it's not the most painful thing in the world, but it's not good.
Lightstream is a little bit like OBS, pretty much. It's maybe a lighter version of OBS, which is why I selected it. Right. It's not as hard as OBS, but for me, it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy being green. All right.
Exactly.
DJ, did you have any closing remarks before we say goodbye to everybody?
Yes. So, follow me on DJ Curious Strange World on TikTok and Instagram. If you want to say hello, drop me a message. Would love to see you there. You can catch me tomorrow on Don't Follow Crumb. So Crumb's channel.
Yay,
11
Crumb.
a.m. Yep. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So looking forward to that. And then a lot of people were asking me, because we didn't talk about it, but how is my mom feeling about all this stuff?
Oh, yes.
It's a work in progress, guys. It's just like a lot of our Globe friends and parents that are having a hard time, but we love each other. She is my mom. But it's a little bit of uphill battle. So Mom, if you're watching, thank you for just being patient. And, this is all straight out of Genesis 1. So, if you're going to argue with the Bible or the Matrix, I mean, I feel like it's really simple there for her who has a very strong faith. So, guys, thanks for for the support, because it is hard sometimes. So,
all right.
But I want to give a shout out to Zulu One because he is doing a stream right after this. It's BST, and they will be discussing Mars on the Zulu One channel. That's ZULUONE, all caps, here on YouTube.
You mean after the secret show?
Not
this.
Yeah, not after the secret show.
Not this. He's not staying up that late.
No.
But yeah, for the secret show. I will be releasing I'm working on my new, because of DJ, my Fast Earth clue. I'm already working on the script that should be done tomorrow for Election 24. That's what it'll be called. Because I want to get this out before the election. And I am going to be doing a high school interview tomorrow morning pretty early. And I should have that out with a little luck before the secret show, because we're going to be recording on the fly. I'm not going to tell you what high school it is, because as you know, if you say it, then the trolls will call up the high school in advance and call the administration and make some sort of hell, and then the interview doesn't happen. So trolls, you can suck it.
Hey, those Fast Earth clues, you're up to 40,000 views on TikTok.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Again,
thank you for doing that, DJ. That's amazing.
Going after the kids is important to me. Got to get them while you're young. So said Edward Bernays. All right. With that, I try to go for sound bites, right? And so many times nobody picks up on it. I go, look, the flat Earth cult is coming for me. I did a whole speech with all sorts of sound bites. Nobody chopped it up and used it against me. So it's like, you know what? I'm bulletproof.
Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing them.
All right. I'll send them out there.
We will be back next week. Same flat time, same flat channel. Say goodnight, Patricia.
Good night, and thanks to Peanut as well.
Say goodnight, DJ.
Good night, Strange World. Remember, stay curious out there.
And Peanut says goodnight while smoking. Even though he's ill, he's still smoking Pall Mall Reds, which I do not recommend. But you know what? Good for you, Peanut.
Oh, tomorrow it's before the secret show when Zulu One and the BST show comes on. So
yes, that is true. He is on
before, not after.
Yeah, because we give him just a little over 2 hours.
Right.
Then we take over. Okay, that's it. So we're gonna roll.
Someday we'll get this right.
We'll roll
maybe
credits.
More said, someday I'll get it right.
Good night, everybody. Hot sex and
cats.
There we go.
ever been. And I'm so tired of being on the ropes again. That's the lovely girl standing on the moon, wishing she had a breath of air. That's the lonely boy standing in the room, a solo game musical chair. They say that Mars is close as it's ever been. Wound up chasing stars all over again. There's words for what you got, what you have, and what you'll ever need. There's love so many nights, so many nights, so many ways to believe.
To her PJs with her cup of cocoa and her 6 marshmallows. Night, Mark.
Mike Jack. Jack.
You realize it's the same link every week. It never changes.
Yeah, I know. I should paste it somewhere, I think.